Welcome to a quick look at our volunteer hours tracker software. This is for tracking volunteer hours or service project hours. It can be used for high schools that track these hours for their students, or maybe you track these hours for your parents. It could also be used at a church that has volunteer hour requirements. The interface is adjustable, but we're going to give you a look at a very typical layout. Now, the real beauty here is on this submission log. Everything is very simple, and as you can see here, would work nicely on a mobile device. So the overall idea is that the student or parent can take their mobile device, and it can be a computer or an iPad as well. They can take their device to the place of the service project and begin to fill out their submission log or their volunteer hours right there on their phone. And we'll go back to this view here. And you can see that as they fill it out, they can pick their school. They can enter in their student ID, the name of the service project. Maybe it was park cleanup. The date of service is populated. They could change it if need be. How many hours were served, moderator name. And here's a neat feature. This is optional, but with the moderator pin, what would happen is the student would hand his or her device, phone or tablet or computer, over to the moderator. The moderator would enter a pin that the moderator knows, that the student does not know, and that the overall administrator knows. So it sort of serves as a signature. So you enter that pin, or the moderator of the activity would enter the pin, and then the admin later, when looking over the submissions, could see whether or not that pin matched the pin that the moderator is supposed to have. This would work very well for moderators who end up moderating a lot of projects for you. Maybe they're already an approved moderator, already in your system, and so you might give them a pin. Again, this is optional. You don't have to use the moderator pin. Another option is there is a signature field here, and looks a little funny because I'm using a mouse on a computer, but on a small device you would be using your finger, and so it would look a little bit better. But just like real signatures, you would be able to get a sense whether the moderator actually signed it or not. So you could use moderator signature, you could use moderator pin, you could use both, you could use neither. It's completely up to you. There's also another opportunity to submit a photo. This could work one of many ways. One, it could be used as a verification process. So you could ask the student to take a photo of himself or herself with the service project in the background or next to the moderator actually doing service. So you see that photo come through and you have proof that the person was there. Or you could just make the photo an optional field to help you as the administrator collect photos of the particular service projects. Again, optional, but another way to verify a presence. Okay, and let's just click submit here. And then this submission has been submitted. It goes into the database. Now let's take a look at what that database looks like for you as the administrator. Okay, here we are in the back end. This is what the administrator would see. And we just have 3 students here. Obviously, you may have hundreds or over 1,000 students. One neat feature is you can search by any word that might be in the student's log. So if you just wanted to check up on Jeff, you could click Jeff and you'd see all the Jeffs. Obviously, there's only one here. If you wanted to just take a look and see how is everyone doing who graduates in 2019, you could do that. So very easy to search. You can also just click here to order. So you might say who has the most service hours. We see here on our quick little view, a little overview, student name, student ID, graduation year, total service projects, total hours served. So a quick glance here, but let's say you want to check in on Jeff in particular. You click View Student Details. Here again at the top we have an overview of Jeff's information, and now we can go in and see all of his individual submissions. We see the signature, we see the photo if it was submitted. We have the pin turned off, but if you had pin turned on, you'd see the moderator's pin number, so you quickly glance to make sure that made sense. Again, you can go ahead and look at more info by clicking View, and here's the actual submission there. Let's say you needed to edit something. Let's say for some reason you realized it was impossible that Jeff served for 2.5 hours. The event was only 1.5 hours. You can go into edit, and then you can just make your change right here and update that information. You can go in and correct anything on this particular submission. All right, back to student details. Obviously, over time, you would have more and more of these. You could sort them quickly by date of service or by number of hours served. And if for some reason you needed to delete a listing, maybe it was submitted twice by accident, or there was something wrong with it, or in the end it wasn't approved, you go ahead and delete that listing. Let's go back to our admin area. All right, here we have our students, and again, you could just click on another student and see their projects. You can see their hours totaled rather quickly. It's also possible to export data for all of your students. So you could export what you're seeing here to get a quick rundown in an Excel file if you maybe needed to, or a CSV file if you maybe need to use the data in another way. It can be exported. So a very simple way for your students to submit projects. Another use of the photo could be to take a picture of a paper form. Let's say the student didn't bring their device, or it wasn't possible to bring mobile devices with an internet connection. Maybe you still brought a paper form, you filled it out the normal way, but you as the admin don't want to see the paper form anymore. So you tell the student, okay, good job collecting the information on paper. Now go back to the volunteer hours tracker, fill out the information, and in the photo section, take a photo of the paper form, which would, of course, would capture the signature of the moderator and provide you a little bit of background information or the ability to track the history of this project. So you can use the digital version as a easier way to bring in data that maybe was originally collected on paper. And again, the major purpose here is to be able to grab that information while on a mobile device at the service project, in many ways eliminating the need to start with paper from the beginning. And then the admin has a powerful ability to search and query the information, to run reports, to check up on previous submissions and logs to see total hours, and to contact and reach out to these students. So again, this interface is adjustable, but this is a very likely setup that you might use. We also realize that schools and churches do this differently, so we welcome your input on tweaks and suggestions for your particular application. But this is Volunteer Hours Tracker. It should save you in a very large amount of time because of the way it can calculate for you, because of the way it can collect the information digitally, keep it all in one place. It also serves as an amazing tool to hand on to your successor. You no longer have to hand over boxes of folders and papers. You simply hand over a username and password, and there is all of the data. So thank you for taking this quick tour of Volunteer Hours Tracker, and we look forward to talking to you and working with you and implementing this program at your school to really save you time and to help prioritize even more the importance and value of service at your school or church or organization. Thanks so much.